I tried the most powerful legal gaming enhancers I could find, the energy powders, the focus gun, the esport hand warmer, the sleep drink, plus normal stuff people use anyway. And all of this cost me like $250 of my own money, and I tested every single one in real rank games. And look, after more than 10,000 hours in shooters, I know exactly how I play on a normal day, so if any of this actually changes something, I will notice. But before we jump into it, this video is sponsored by Exit Lag. And honestly, this is one of those programs I always heard about but never really understood how it actually works. So let me explain it the way I understood it. When you play online games, your internet provider routes your connection however it wants, and that path is not always the best one for gaming. Sometimes it takes some weird detour through half of Europe before it reaches the game server, and that's where your random ping spikes come from. Now Exit Lag fixes that part. It sends your connection through multiple optimized routes at the same time, it's called multipath, and keeps you on the fastest one using AI route optimization. They have over 1200 servers on 5 continents, and it works with more than 4000 games. So you get like Valorant, CS2, League of Legends, Fortnite, whatever you're playing, it's in here. And it actually works. This is a Valorant ping before Exit Lag and ping after. Now setup is genuinely easy. You make an account, download the latest version, install it, pick your game and your server, hit activate, that's it, is like 1 minute. And you can just leave it on automatic and never touch it again. Or if you're the type of person who wants to see what your connection is actually doing, they have a diagnostic center where you can check everything yourself. Now if you want to try, they have the level up deal going on right now. The annual plan is 50% off, plus you get 90 days free on top. And you can use those yourself or share them with your squad. It's for new subscription on annual plans, and you need the coupon code to activate the discount, and the link and the code are in the description. Now back to the video. And we start with what you swallow, because that's where most of your money goes, and because honestly half of this pile runs on the exact same ingredient, caffeine. So of course I'm gonna start with black coffee. Now this is my go-to for like 10 years at this point. Small, concentrated, made on one of those Italian mocha pots, no sugar, no milk, nothing, and that comes around about like 80 milligrams of caffeine per cup. And since I drank like 2 of these a day, my tolerance is stupid high by now. So keep that in mind for this entire video. Now what coffee actually does is pretty simple. It blocks the thing in your brain that makes you feel tired, and that's it. But the real secret with coffee is water, because if you only drink coffee and no water, you end up dehydrated and you feel worse, not better. At least for me that means cloudy head, slow reaction time, kinda sleepy, basically the opposite of what you want. Now coffee plus water though, you're like 10 times better, zero problem. And that's the part nobody sells you. You make it at home exactly how strong you want it, no gaming logo, no markup, no mystery blend on the label. So that's an easy 8 out of 10 for me. Honestly the best thing you can do if you understand what you want from it. Which also means that from this point on, everything in this pile has one job. Beat 8 out of 10 at basically zero cost. And the first challenger is probably the most famous gaming drink on this planet. And I'm talking about G Fuel. Around like $50 where I live. And I used it for like 4 to 5 days straight in ranked, in aim training, the whole routine. Now the taste is honestly pretty good. Not wow, not bad. It goes down easy. You drink it like a juice. And that right there is actually my biggest problem with this product. But I'll get to that in a second. Because first the real question is, what did they actually do? And the honest answer is for me basically nothing. And once you look at what's inside, it makes sense. Because G Fuel is essentially a pre-workout with a gaming logo on it. It's like a pre-workout without the beta-alanine. So you don't get those tingles on your skin. It usually has less caffeine than one, and the rest of the formula is a bunch of ingredients you can't really feel anyway. And even accounting for my tolerance, there's just nothing here that justifies the price. Because a decent pre-workout is like 25 to 30 bucks. This is almost double. Now the part I said that I come back to, the taste being good is not a feature here, it's a trap. Because these drinks are like juice, and if you're young and you like the flavor, nothing stops you from mixing scoop after scoop until you casually drank like 400 milligrams of caffeine without feeling like you took anything serious. So did it beat coffee? Not even close. And the score is like a 4 out of 10 for me. But here is where it gets interesting, because the next product has no flavor, no branding, no marketing budget, and it's the best thing I tested in this entire pile. 2 separate bottles, caffeine pills, the one I tested were like 200 milligrams, and L-theanine pills next to them. No flavor, no mascot, no esports team, and this combo is the best thing I swallowed in this entire pile. So the idea is simple, you take them together, and in theory the caffeine gives you like the alertness, while the L-theanine adds calmness on top. Normally I'm very skeptical about the in theory part, but this one I actually felt. Because here is the problem with caffeine alone. If you go too hard on coffee, you get palpitations, you get agitated, you have energy, but it's not the type of energy like sitting in a chair energy. Your body wants to move, and that's the worst possible energy for like holding an angle in CS2. And this combo is a bit different. You're alert but calm, focused but no jitters, no shaking, no tunnel vision like when you overdo coffee. Just this clean, calm focus that works for gaming, for work, for anything where you need your brain on it but your hands steady. And for me personally, the reaction time felt nice, I felt more locked in, and I had like none of the downside I know from years of caffeine. One important thing though, if you already love drinking coffee, the ritual, the taste, the whole thing, the pills won't feel like some upgrade, because it's the same caffeine at the core before. The pills are for when you want the effect without the drink, and that's the actual use case, so 8.5 out of 10. And it beat my own coffee, which after like 10 years I didn't expect to say, and with that the swallow category should be done, except there's one more product, same 2 ingredients, same promise, completely different format, and somehow it barely did anything. And I'm talking about NeuroGum, caffeine plus L-theanine again, the exact combo I gave an 8.5, but this time in a chewing gum, so on paper this should be great, but in reality, at least for me, it barely registered anything. And the reason is pretty simple, the dose. One piece of this gum has a fraction of the caffeine from the pills, so at my tolerance, chewing this was basically chewing normal gum with extra steps. Now to be fair, if you're like caffeine sensitive, or you just like having something to chew during games like you're some kind of maniac, this might actually be your format. The delivery is faster too, because it absorbs through your mouth instead of your stomach, so in theory it kicks in quicker, but quicker to what? A dose I can feel, and the market value it's worse. You pay more per serving than buying caffeine and L-theanine pills separately for less of both. Same ingredients, smaller dose, higher price just because it's portable and has focus written on the back basically. So it's a 3 out of 10 for me. If the pills exist, I don't see the point. And that closes the swallow category where the pattern is already obvious. Everything here runs on the same molecule, and the more gaming marketing on the label, the worse the deal gets. And before someone types in the comments, yeah, I know about the nicotine stuff, the snus, the zin, the patches, everything the CS scene is basically famous for. And I tried the nicotine patch once as a non-smoker and I almost threw up. And if you don't smoke, starting an addiction just to aim better is one of the dumbest things you can do. And what is next doesn't go in your body at all, it goes on it. And the first one is something I was already using daily before this video even existed. And I'm talking about the gaming arm sleeve. So what does it actually do? It's simple. It sits between your arm and the pad, no more skin sticking to the surface, no more sweat soaking into the cloth, no more of that stop-start friction that you get when your forearm drags to the mousepad. And on a glass pad, this goes from nice to have to basically mandatory. Bare skin on glass sticks and there's nothing you can do about it. Now the honest part, how much it helps, depends on the sleeve itself, because the material matters way more than people think. I've tested around like 10 of these at this point, and the difference between a good one and a bad one is kinda huge. Some glide super clean, some catch onto the pad and make everything worse. And from everything I tried, the best options right now are from Wallhack or Pulsar. These are the ones that actually point you to. And the best part is the price, because these are kinda cheap, of course, it's subjective, but for what they give you, it's one of the best value purchases in this entire pile. So I will score this like a 8 out of 10. So of course this one earned its place. The next thing on this desk though doesn't touch your setup at all. Its whole job is just to sit in your hands between rounds. And this is the ESL hand warmer. You see pro players between rounds holding some black object, or like green in my case, just playing with it. And that was my first contact with this thing. At first I thought it was like a fidget spinner, and then I found out it's actually a thing. Now, when you're stressed, when you have matched nerves, your hands go cold. So pros hold this to keep the aim hand warm, which as a concept makes sense, and this one, the official ESL version made with Wormly, as a product, honestly it's well made. Heats up properly, charges fast, 2 magnetic pieces that you can split, one in each hand or snap together. Generally interesting object, but the question was never does it warm your hand, the question is did it change anything in my games? And for me, no. My hands got warm, sure, but not in the same way where my aim suddenly felt different. It's not like you touch this thing and your fingers become new. For me, it ended up being an expensive fidget toy between rounds, and that's the honest frame for it. This is not like some performance enhancer, it's more like a stabilizer. If you play in a cold room, if you're like at a LAN with the AC blasting, if your hands generally go cold from stress, warming them is like real. Cold fingers really are much slower. But at home, normal temperature, warm hands, there's nothing to fix. So for my case, it's a 3 out of 10, waste of money basically. Which brings us to the last product in this group, and this one you stick on your face. And I'm talking about nasal strips, and yeah, I stuck this on my face for you. So the pitch sounds simple, the strip pulls your nostril open, you breathe easier, more air, and in theory that means more oxygen, better focus. At least that's what the box wants you to believe. And pros started wearing them in official matches, on camera, in front of millions, so I tested the expensive one, the cheap ones, basically everything I could find. And look, the breathing part is kind of real, you do feel your nose more open, the sensation exists, but that was the entire experience, because feeling more air in your nose and playing better are two completely different things, and in my games I felt nothing, no extra focus, no better aim, no difference at all. As a gaming product, it's a placebo, at least for me, and on top of doing nothing, they're generally annoying. You have a sticker pulling on your face the whole session, and good luck if it's like summer. So for me it's a 1 out of 10, the worst thing in this entire pile. But there is exactly one thing on that box that's not nonsense, because the one place where these strips have an actual legit use case is sleep. And that word is the perfect bridge, because the last product on this desk doesn't do anything while you're playing, it works while you're unconscious. And I'm talking about Mad Monk Zen Plus, a sleep drink made for gamers from a brand that follows me around the internet non-stop. Their ads are everywhere, so at some point I said fine, let's actually test it. And the logic behind it, it's honestly the most solid one in this entire pile. You sleep better, you wake up fresh, and if you're fresh, you play better. So I took it for a few nights and I track everything on my Whoop. And the recovery scores those days were genuinely high, so case closed, I guess, but not really. Well, here's the part the marketing doesn't tell you. When you look at what's actually inside, the two ingredients doing the heavy lifting are like magnesium, and they don't even specify which type of magnesium on the box, which is again a red flag in my case. And again, L-theanine, the same L-theanine from earlier in this video. And here is the problem: before this product I was already taking generic magnesium and L-theanine before bed. Same combo, bought separately, way cheaper. And my recovery scores on that generic stack, the same. So this drink didn't beat my normal routine, it just repackaged it with a gaming brand on top and a better story. And honestly, even the combo is secondary, because the real secret to waking up fresh is stuff nobody can sell you. Drink your water, don't eat 3 hours or 4 hours before bed, and don't doom scroll on your phone till like 2 AM. Now, do those things and you're already ahead of any powder. So, is it worth it? In my opinion, no, because the same ingredients exist without the mascot for less money. So it's a 5 out of 10, the logic is right, the price is not. And with that, the pile is done. Except the best enhancer I own isn't even on this pile. Which brings me to the real one, my glasses. Now, real prescription glasses made for my eyes, my correction, my face, not those gamer glasses with 0 diopters they sell online. Actual glasses made from an actual opticians, because I can test powders and stickers all day, but nothing on this desk comes closer to the difference between seeing clearly and not seeing clearly. And that's a 10 out of 10. So that's the real takeaway: find the thing that actually holding you back, tired eyes, bad sleep, sweaty arms on the pad, whatever it is for you. That will do more than this entire pile combined. And if you've tested any of this stuff yourself, tell me in the comments what it did for you. Now the scores are on screen, and that's the video. And if you want to see more about gaming peripherals in general, check out the next video.